Go ahead and introduce yourself.
I'm Steve Conway, Research Vice President for High Performance Computing at IDC.
And yesterday you gave a presentation giving your overall market forecast for HPC, and you did touch on cloud a little bit, as I discussed in an article. Do you want to expand on that a little bit?
Sure. Well, cloud is here in HPC as opposed to a year ago. It's a lot more real, but most of the action today is on the private cloud side, and you have places like CERN and NERSC with their Magellan Cloud and NASA and so forth using the cloud not just to distribute computing cycles, but actual applications and the models and the data and so forth. So it's gotten very real on the public side, although it's still an early adopter market, but it's here. And on the private side, you see a lot of activity happening where vendors are starting to offer that to HPC customers, and they're trying to figure out the business models and the technical models for doing that. And essentially what we're seeing is that people are kind of splitting out their workloads so that the kinds of pieces of the workloads without big dependencies, communications dependencies and bandwidth particularly, they're really considering to go out to the cloud, and the pieces they're not, they're kind of keeping inside. The U.S. government has actually, in the Obama administration, asked the agencies in the government to really look into cloud computing as something to do, and to, if they're not looking into cloud computing, or to say that they can't use it, to kind of justify why they can't use it. So there's a lot of movement on this front.
Okay. 5 years from now, if you had to project, what do you see happening on this front? Is it going to be a big part of HPC, or is it going to be just like it is now, where it's kind of an afterthought, an end at the end of the PowerPoint presentation where you say, oh, in cloud, well, let's mention this for a minute. Do you see it being a big part of the discussion?
My personal opinion, I think it's going to be an important, integral part of the HPC scene. For the dollar part of the market, that's a little harder to predict, because a lot of the cloud computing is kind of a repurposing of existing resources that are purchased and so forth. So that part's a little harder to figure out, a little too soon for that. But I think it's going to be an important part of the HPC scene. I think it's already at some sites reached that status today.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Sure thing.